You got your one-on-one meetings. You've got your two-on-one meetings. You've got your small group meetings. You've got your in-home meetings. You've got local events. You've got regional events. And you have destination events. In my opinion, destination events are the most powerful. The most powerful. Destination events changed my life. Changed everything for me. Once I learned the importance of them, number one, and how to get more people to attend destination events, number two, it changed my whole career. Standing next to the big shot, and you're trying to wonder, what do you say? What do you say when you're standing next to the big shot? What do you do when you're standing next to the big shot? So I turned to the big shot and I got up my courage and I said, "So, David, what's the secret?" And he had compassion on me, because guess what the real answer to that is? There is no secret. But he knew I wanted some little tip, some little thing that would give me some encouragement. So he said, "Eric, see this room? And I want you to visualize this room." Because it's about the same as when he pointed it out to me. He said, "Eric, see this room, and I'll draw it out for you how I saw it in my mind." He didn't draw it out. But how I saw it in my mind looked like this. Here's the room. Here's the stage. Here's all the people. He said, "Eric, see those 1,000 people in the room? Here's the secret. We do these events 4 times a year in our company. 90 days from today, when we do the next event, half of this room won't be there. They just won't be back. Half of the room will be gone. Now, they might not have quit, but they've stopped being effective. They might still be a distributor, but they're not necessarily a builder. The builder in them has faded. Maybe temporarily, maybe permanently, but the builder's gone. And what's left is this side of the room. We'll fill it up and it'll be this big or maybe even bigger. But this side of the room will be making 2 times the amount of everybody else in the room, because they're still builders and they showed up." And he said, "Eric, it doesn't stop there. 90 days later, half of this side of the room will be gone. The builder in them will have faded. It'll be replaced with other people who have hopes of becoming builders. Distributors in hopes of becoming builders. And this group will now be making 4 times the amount of money of everybody else in the room. And you won't be able to pick them out necessarily, but if you took a look at their income, you would see in just 2 events from now, 6 months from now, they'll be making 4 times the average of everybody else in the room." And he said, it keeps going, Eric. 90 days after that, these people won't be back. Not that they quit, but they stopped being a builder. They stopped being important to the growth of the organization. Maybe they were part of the stability of the organization. They're back home using the product, talking to the occasional person, making the occasional dollar, but they are not leading the charge any longer. So this side of the room will be making 8 times what everybody else in the room makes. And just 3 months later, guess what, Eric? Half of those people won't be there. They'll be replaced with other people, coming in at their 2nd event, 3rd event, 4th event. He said, "Eric, if you just stay and work on your skills from destination event to destination event to destination event, you'll eventually be on stage. You'll eventually be one of the highest income earners. You'll eventually earn your way onto stage and it'll be fine." He said, "But here's the secret. If you skip one, it all starts over. If you just miss one, something happens, something gets in the way, and those of you who are builders, you know what I'm talking about. The person went to 2, 3, and then they missed one. And they basically emotionally had to start over as a builder. So, in my simple little mind, I went, you know what, I can do that. I can be here 3 months from now. I don't know how. I have no idea. But, all right, I'll make the commitment. I'll do it now. I'll decide right now that I'm going to do it. And I would tell you, for your professional skills, you could apply that same principle to GoPro Recruiting Mastery. Here's an example. How many people were here a year ago at this event? Look around. Replaced by others. Just the way it is. Now, how many people will be here next year? We'll ask the same question next year, and we will see. Some of you will have lost your way. Some of you will got your feelings hurt. Some of you will, get your nose bent out of shape, and some of you say, "What isn't my fault?" and all that stuff. But some of you say, "No, you know what? Not only am I going to be here, but I'm going to bring a group because this will be good for them." How many people wish they had more people here at this event? See, I'm going to start a camp. I want to do something in network marketing profession so big that the whole world starts thinking differently about our profession. So if you take two groups of people, for any destination event, whether it's this or any other event, you're going to do a big event. How many people have a group or company event coming up? Okay? The rest of you don't? Really? If you don't, schedule one. Group A has 100 people, and it's a priority, and all of them attend. And Group B has 100 people. It's not a priority, and only a handful attend. Who's going to win? Group A. It's just an automatic. What Mr. Hollis said, that his main priority was dragging bodies to events like this because the event did all the work. He was there to have some passion and enthusiasm to be able to help them move forward, but all the work was done by third-party people. He was cool. He was done. While other people just they announced the event. Robert promoted the event. Announcers are the amateurs. Promoters are the professionals. You got to make it a priority. So learning how to promote. Let's talk about learning how to promote. Number one, be more committed than anybody else to that next event. If you got a next event with your company, be more committed than anybody else. Make it obvious. Lead by example. Be the first one to get registered. Be the first one to get your hotel room and your airfare and start telling that story. With your airline or with the tickets to the actual event, find a way. Don't say, "Yeah, I'm going to start promoting it, but I'm not going to get my ticket until later because I've got some other stuff going on." Get your ticket. Show the proof. Make a little copy of it. Put it in the email. "Here's my confirmation. Where's yours?" Childcare, find a way. Distractions, find a way. Travel, find a way. There were times when I had to drive a long way to an event with a car full of smelly people for 12 hours to get to an event. There were times when I had a lot of people in my group that couldn't afford it but needed to be there, and we rented a bus. Put everybody in the bus. We watched videos the whole way there. We built a community in doing that. Find a way. Instead of taking that direct flight, you might have to do that 5-connection flight that takes you around the world and doesn't make any sense. You know, when that happened to me, here's how I looked at it. How many people need to start a new line really, really bad? Here's how I looked at it, and I'm not kidding. The more connections, the more opportunities. The more connections on a flight, the more chances I'm going to sit next to somebody in a flight, the more chances I'm going to meet somebody in that lounge, the more chances I'm going to talk to people who are grabbing my bag, the more chances. And I started tons of lines over the course of my career through travel. Because you're out of your comfort zone and you can experiment, you can be more free with yourself, you can try lots of different things. So it might be a good strategy to take 5 flights to go 1,000 miles. That's the way I looked at it. I reframed it in my head. Direct flight, I only get 1 shot. Find a way. Accommodations, find a way. I'm not a big believer in finding accommodations away from the host hotel because there's so much magic that happens in the hall, in the lounge, and all the different conversations during the breaks. And if you find, I've done it before where you found something off-site. Let me tell you what I would prefer you do. Stay on site and put 12 people in a room if you have to. Seriously. I've done that. People sleeping in the bathtub. People sleeping, no joke, arriving with an inflatable mattress so they could slide it next to the bed, and they'd throw in there asking the hotel for some extra blankets when they didn't have blankets, using towels. I'm not kidding. If you're hungry, you can make it happen. And we made it fun. We made it an adventure. There's a big difference between it being an announcer and being a promoter. Create a culture in your organization where attendance is expected. Not demanded. Expected. It is the culture of your organization. That yes, of course we're all going. Take nothing for granted. It's your job to make sure that they are attending. Don't say, oh yeah, I'm sure they are. Because they're usually not. Don't take it for granted that they've registered. Do some accountability inside your group where you send a weekly email out because the company has given you a printout of everybody in your downline that's registered for the event. And you send a weekly email with their names. Here's the people who've registered. Congratulations. For the rest of you, hurry up. So the leader goes, really? You're going to send the email? All right, I can't wait any longer. All right, I'll do it. I'm not kidding. This is, if you were a publicly traded company, the most important number in your quarterly report would be the growth of people attending a destination event on your team. If it's dropping, they'll sell your stock. If you don't know how many it is, they'll sell it all the way to 0. If it's growing, they'll buy more stock. If it's growing dramatically, they'll tell everybody else to buy. This is the indicator for big growth, big income in your business. Don't buy other people's stories. And he said, Mike, you go into the event, and Mike tells Ace, you know what, there's a birthday party that weekend, and we had this picnic that's been planned, and, we've got some other stuff, and I've got a little bit of extra, overtime at work, so it's just not going to work this time. So bring me back the notes, Ace. Bring me back the notes. So Ace tells me this. Mike's not coming because of this, this, and this. And I'm not saying you bought his story, but most people just buy that story. I can't tell you the thousands of times that I hear that story and I go to Mike and say, Mike, tell me it's not so. Really? Let me tell you the vision of what this event is going to do. Let me tell you the importance of what it's going to be for your career. Let me tell you, not only do you need to be there, but we got to grow the number of people on your team to be there. This is your life we're talking about. We're not talking about a party. A party can be rescheduled. Your life is waiting for you. We got to go make this thing happen. And he says, all right. Within 3 minutes, he goes, you're right. But now do I take it for granted that he's going to do it? No. I say to Ace, listen, first of all, you bought his story. Don't buy his story again or anybody else's story because it's not true. It's an illusion. The best in the world promote these events. They do not announce them. They promote them.